O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
This is Sister Sajdah Muhammad. We are proud to announce that the Sajdah House commemorative Elijah coins are finally here. As we renovate and restore the former home of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have recycled the old copper gutters and downspouts and created a 1-ounce 39mm coin made of 100% pure copper. Each coin is professionally graded and has its own barcode and registration number. This priceless heirloom, made from recycled copper from the messenger's home, is now available at sajdahhouse.com.
You belong to yourself. You're an independent people, created from the nation of free people. Yes, sir. You don't need to go nowhere but to yourself. Yes, sir. There will be a great separation. Yes, sir. So I said, it is on now.
The college is meant to prepare you for your future. That the time dictates that if we don't do something for ourselves as a people, we will be destroyed. And the aim of the enemy right now is to take us out.
We have God with us. We have Him as our guide. Yes, sir. We don't have to stand around here and ask the question, what must be done? Yes, sir. Get up and let's go and do something. Yes, sir. We cannot sit down. We cannot lay down. Yes, sir. We must get up. Yes, sir. And go to work.
Do you know what real joy is in life? Visioning something and bringing it into reality. That's real joy. Do you know what the next step in joy is? Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell in unity.
Tonight, you need to fasten your seatbelts. We're going to hear from some of the greatest minds in the world. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of trusting our future and the future of our children into the hands of those who don't love us. I believe we need to revitalize black leadership.
Greetings, family, and assalamu alaikum. Happy Saturday. Peace and blessings. I want to talk today about how we process information. This is kind of an extension of what we spoke about on Thursday in the manifestation class, where we talked about how our economy today is not based on a gold standard. It's not based on the oil anymore. You can see that rug got pulled out, and that's why we're spiraling into this inflation. But I believe now we're based on information, an information standard, and information that is not the truth, information that's put out there in an effort to manipulate people. And so it's very important right now that we understand how we interpret things. And emotional intelligence could not be more important any other time than it is now. I became a certified emotional intelligence coach, I think somewhere around 2008 or 9. And I used to do a lot more coaching, and I decided that I would open myself up to offer it as a coaching service more now. So if you want to book me, you just go to the link in the bio, like on any of the social media. And I think the first tab is to book your customized session. And if you book one session for that price, I'll give you a second follow-up session at no charge. And the reason why that's so important is because now so much information is coming to us. People are always looking to manipulate, and it's going to get worse, especially with the economy getting bad. And with the bad economy, we talked about in the 70s, we didn't have this level of information exchange like we do now. I want to play a quick video from Tony Robbins talking about emotions and emotional intelligence, and for us to begin to be conscious of how we see things. And when you book that session with me, I'm going to take you through the basic steps of emotional fitness to help you figure out how to get there through those 5 steps. And then we'll do some customized coaching about where you are and who you are. The one thing to understand, the key thing about emotional intelligence and increasing your EQ is learning how to remove yourself from the analysis. And that's really usually the toughest thing for most people, because when we analyze something, we tend to analyze it based on who we are, right? We bring ourselves to the analysis. And so we become a factor. But to the extent that you can, removing your ego and removing your emotions is key, especially in today's world where the information overload and the entire economic process, everything is based on information that's passed around and how you and I interpret that information. So most people think that emotional intelligence is about emotional control. Like the idea is that I just don't have any emotions. You don't want to do that. You don't want to shut yourself down emotionally, because then you can't feel. Then you don't have the benefit of emotions being your compass. See, emotions are designed to point you in the right direction or to let you know where you are. So if you're trying to go somewhere, you have to be real clear on where you are, right? When you put that in your GPS system, it's going to start with an existing location. But if you don't know where you are, you can't create a roadmap to go anywhere, because no one can give you the coordinates to get there, because they don't know where you started. And oftentimes we don't know where we are. We're in an illusion. We're in this space where we're looking at the news. We look at whatever information. We don't even know what we like or don't like anymore. We're so influenced. If we want to wear something, or we want to do a certain decoration or purchase a certain car, we go and look at what's popular. Many of us don't even do what is in our heart anymore. We do what the world tells us to do, or what people around us tell us to do. So we've lost our authenticity and we've lost our creativity because we're so busy trying to process the information that's out here. And because we don't know where we are, we don't really know how to process it. So let's take a look at this quick video. We're going to look at this from Tony Robbins really quickly, and then we'll come back and talk. Okay? Get your tea, get your chai. I got some chai today. Get some coffee, and we'll be right back.
You go to school and you learn certain things, but you don't really learn about life. You don't learn about your emotions. You don't learn about your mind and why you do certain things and why you feel certain ways.
Today, I want to talk to you about invisible forces. Radiation is an invisible force. Gravity is an invisible force. Electromagnetic energy is an invisible force. So is love and so is hate. Those two invisible forces of human emotion can impact your life more than almost anything else on this earth. You know, people love to talk about their intellect, but guess what? It's human emotion that actually moves us to action. Emotions start wars. They also create peace. Emotions will get you to fall in love. It's what gets you married. It's also can get you divorced if you don't manage it well. Used effectively, we can use our emotions to experience the most enhanced life you could ever dream of. But if we fail to direct our emotion, fear, worry, anger, stress, depression, or overwhelm can creep in. Listen, we've all been given a gift, and that gift is the capacity to choose and direct and shape our own emotions, therefore change the quality of our lives in an instant and help others to do the same. So if we're going to have an extraordinary holiday season, and more importantly, an extraordinary life, we have to become the masters of this invisible force called human emotion. We feel different feelings at different times, and we can be triggered by a variety of things in our environment. But ultimately, the way you feel is based on the meaning you give to things. See, meaning equals emotion, and emotion equals your life. So for example, if something really challenging happens in your life, some people make up a meaning, this is happening because God is punishing me for something I've done wrong. See, the meaning we give things produces emotion. If you think God's punishing you, you're going to have a different feeling and response instead of actions than you think God is challenging or gifting you with this challenge. What's wrong is always available, as I always say, but so is what's right. Rarely does a positive emotion just interrupt you. Usually, you have to pursue them. Weeds grow automatically. You don't have to plant them. In the middle of a challenge, one of my favorite questions to ask is, what's great about this? Maybe there's an opportunity in this situation. If you and I are going to become emotionally fit, then we really have to train ourselves. Emotional fitness is that state of readiness. It's different than emotional intelligence. Most people have a highway to stress and fear and worry and upset, and they got a dirt road to happiness or joy. You can change that because emotion is a habit. This holiday season, and more importantly in your life, what do we got to do to consistently have the emotions we want is become conscious and train that habit. You need to figure out what your emotional home is. So take a look at your emotional inventory and maybe circle the top 2 positive emotions you experience most and the top 2 negative that you experience most. And then write down what tends to trigger you. And how could you train yourself in that same situation to feel differently? Just by having the awareness alone, you can change things. And if you do this for, say, 10 days, I think you'll find you'll have a new set of habits, and the quality of your life, not only during the holidays, but every day, will increase massively. So if you really want to give yourself a gift and the people around you this holiday season, maybe make a decision. It's a simple decision. It says, from this day on, at least for the next few weeks, I'm going to train myself to tap into the gift of positive human emotions. I'm going to live in a beautiful emotional state by finding a more empowering meaning. Just ask yourself, what else could this mean? And find an empowering meaning, and in that moment, you become the master of your life.
That's heavy. And I know he did that, I think, for the holiday season, but I think it's important. And so what we will uncover in some of those sessions are our emotional habits. Some of us wake up in the morning and we immediately go to a particular emotion. That's our home emotion. Some of us are always sad. And so we wake up, we go to the sad place, and then we try to use our prayers and our religion to get us up out of that sad place. So we wake up sad, and then we start the process of praying and going, okay, I'm going to try to feel better and faith and all this other things. But really what the problem is, we started off in the hole. And so we have to know how to put ourselves in the state. There are times for myself before I pray where I calibrate myself to a certain emotion. Generally, it's gratitude. And generally, it's love. And so, in that calibration, and then I go into prayer, and then I go into meditation. So, getting those emotional habits in order are critical. Some people wake up and they automatically just feel like, okay, I'm ready. I got to fight. And that's where they start their day. They start their day in a fight mental state, a war mental state. They wake up like, all right, I'm ready. It's on. As soon as I hit the floor, I know the devil's running. What is that doing to you? So what I'm saying is find your center and use your center as like gratitude or love. So I said, type in the chat the primary emotion that you feel on a regular basis. Brother Andy said, what emotions are linked to beating oneself up? Well, that could be a lot. That could be a reaction to a lot of things. It could be self-hate. It could be fear. There could be a number of things. Fear is usually the biggest in cases like that, where a person just is always dogging themselves, hating their body, hating what they do, not feeling good enough, thinking people are always out to get them. And what that produces fear, because oftentimes it starts with unworthiness. And when you feel like you're not worthy, and when you feel like I'm not good enough, then everything scares you. Everything triggers you. Your friend getting a new car triggers you. A friend wearing a cute outfit triggers you. Somebody being slimmer than you triggers you. Somebody with more money triggers you. You go in a store and somebody look at you wrong, that triggers you. You think everything is out to get you. Well, it's very difficult to manifest from that level. And then here's why it's important. When we start to spiral and our emotions are all out of control, and when I say out of control, I don't even mean that you're visibly expressing out of control emotions, because a lot of people have out of control emotions, but they don't express it. They're not raging, they're not crying, but they're inside and they're out of control. They're thinking negative things. Once you're in that confused state and you have no grounding basis, if you will, and this happens a lot with religious people, because we read these religious texts and we submit to 10 commandments and restrictive laws, and it becomes very difficult because it may be difficult for you to live up to those. And so every little mistake you make, and this happens a lot with children that are reared in these types of environments. And it's very important that we teach our children to have these tools, because what will happen is if all we teach them are 10 commandments, restrictive laws, as soon as they make a mistake, they're either ready to kill themselves or walk away from the religion, or walk away altogether. Forget it. I'm just going to go into an abyss of negativity because I done messed up. I'm no good. So you got to be careful with that. And we have to be careful with that with ourselves, because we're going to make mistakes. Things are going to happen. It's not whether or not you make the mistake, it's whether or not you learn from it, whether or not you understand why you did it, and that you put yourself in a position so that you don't make the mistake again. And so sometimes those are tools that not only do we forget to teach ourselves, but we forget to teach our children. When I'm working with a client, and I've been doing this way back when I started working with people, back when I was teaching orientation class in the Nation of Islam, I've always taught people that you have to have the tools to be able to manage yourself and manage disappointment, because you're going to mess up. That doesn't mean you walk into it knowing that I'm not going to do well, but you want to avoid creating this phoniness, this pious mindset, like I'm perfect, I'm on this level, and I got to act a certain way and be a certain way, but I'm really fake and phony and unhappy. You got to avoid that, because that right there is going to set you up for manipulation. Because all of a sudden, somebody's going to come along and say something to you. Somebody who can see you clearly is going to come along and speak right into that insecurity. They're going to be able to manipulate you into doing certain things, into believing certain things. That's why you get into groupthink and crowd thought and these kind of things when, when people are in organizations or in companies. And now it's not just restricted to the companies and organizations, it's all over. You turn on the news. My business partner sent me something yesterday. He called me and he said, you know what? He said, y'all ought to be, as women, in an uproar. And I said, what do you mean? He said, because there's this video going around called What is a Woman? And they've gotten to the point where he said, in the medical field, they're hijacking the meaning of a woman. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. So I watched the video and I said, wow, nothing about X chromosomes, nothing about the difference between men and women with X chromosomes, men with X and Y chromosomes, nothing about the ability to reproduce, nothing about woman being the second self of God, nothing about woman being his first creation, nothing about the magic that is placed in the DNA of a woman. They said, however you define yourself, then you can be a woman. And I said, this is technology at its finest, right? So I just talked about Thursday how we're living in this information world. We're living in a world where certain people can wake up in the morning and make certain statements about the economy or about something tied to the economy, and they can literally cause the stock market to crash by the end of the day. People can literally make something go viral. They have the ability to create these social media machines, and something can go viral on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It go viral. And next thing you know, our entire economy is impacted. Something can go viral and an entire industry can be developed or destroyed. Something can go viral and a person's livelihood can be taken away from them. Something can go viral, a thought process can go viral, and it can take you so far away from the truth and so far away from science and biology and from creation that they can convince you to do anything that they want at that point because we've bought into it. And I believe a lot of this starts with emotional intelligence and not knowing how to manage and evaluate our feelings. Some of us are so much into groupthink that one person may say, I don't like her, or I don't like him. And even if we find out that what we thought about that person really is a lie and is not even true, sometimes we are so not in control with our emotions that we can't even turn that thing around. We can't make up with the person. We can't realize, wow, you know what? Maybe I was wrong. Or maybe that person was going through something. Or maybe they simply were immature with how they handled it and they're trying to grow up out of it. Some of us are so stuck in a certain emotional pattern that we can't even move past and we can't move around. So emotional intelligence right now today is critical. You also want, when you get to advanced levels of learning how to change your state. So you it's like being an athlete, right? Before you go out on the field or out on the court or whatever you're doing, you might put on certain music. You might put on certain motivational tapes. You might watch a certain video. You may have a certain conversation with somebody. You may play certain music that gets you pumped up and ready to go. What that is you're putting yourself in an emotional state that you believe is the most productive for whatever it is that you're about to do, and to put you in a position where you're most likely to get whatever it is you want. Win that game, score those baskets, run a touchdown, whatever. So we have to learn how to do that in life. So before you get ready to go and do something, learn how to adjust your mental state. If you're going to church or to the mosque, work on putting yourself in a certain mental state before you get there. That way, what you learn there can be a tool. It can really be a healing balm. Because otherwise, if you're sitting there while that person's talking to you and you're struggling to get up out of whatever state that you're in, you're not really hearing nothing that they're saying. I guarantee you that most of us will sit down and listen to a lecture at church or mosque or a motivational convention. And 9 times out of 10, most of us can't even tell you most of what that person said. We can't come back and tell you. We have to go back and listen over because we're not in a position where we're absorbing. Something I learned to do, I would say probably around high school, was to absorb. And so if I hear a person talking, I'm absorbing and I'm so into the rhythm of their words. Sometimes they'll probably think that I'm not paying attention, or maybe I'm zoned out, or maybe even I'm looking a little bit mean, but I'm so into the rhythm and absorbing their words. And I'm making sure that I'm not injecting myself. So when I give a response or give my opinion, I try my best to make sure that I'm removed from it. That's one of the challenges of being a coach or a consultant is you want to remove yourself enough so that you can hear the person's issue, be empathetic and understand where they're coming from. And then you kind of got to come back as yourself, if you will, with your skill sets and things like that, that can help them get to that next level. So the idea with emotional intelligence is not only just emotional management. A lot of people make that mistake. They think it's just all about emotional control and emotional management. Those are only just 2 steps in the journey to emotional intelligence. And one of the things that I try to do is infuse in there some discovery of authenticity. Because what's interesting is what I learned as I was going through all these certifications is that for us as Black people, there's an additional component. There's that component of not knowing ourselves and not accepting ourselves. That's a big, huge component. So when I would listen to people from other cultures who would talk about coming over here and starting a business and coming here with their families and, all of that kind of stuff, I started thinking, and they probably think, well, wow, why is it that Black people, they can't do what we do? We come over here with nothing. Well, see, because we've been robbed of the knowledge of self, we don't know who we are. Same way as when you're listening to a lecture and you're in another state. We're so busy trying to figure out who we are or get out of life something that was told to us about ourselves, that when it comes down to making decisions, we're generally almost always off. It's very difficult for us to do business. It's very difficult for us to oftentimes figure out what our next move in life is. It's even very difficult for a lot of us to even be creative because we can't let ourselves go. We don't even know who we are. So we're making a decision using someone else's mind. And then if you think about our school systems, especially public school system, they stopped teaching children probably 30 years ago. So, if you graduated from high school in the last 30 years, then 9 times out of 10, we don't know how to critically think. These are things we've had to learn along the way. There's no deductive reasoning. There's no critical thinking. When you think about the education that our parents had and the educational components that were critical in their educational process, a lot of us have never experienced that. We don't know anything about mathematical thinking. We have to study these things on our own. That's why I'm grateful for places like YouTube, because we can jump out here and study and say, let me study some critical thinking. Let me study mathematical thinking. Let me study how to write. There's a lot of people who don't even know how to write. They couldn't write a letter to save their lives. They couldn't write a professional letter. They write in sound bites. Some people don't necessarily know how to speak. And it's because a lot of that has been removed from our educational process. So once all of those technical tools are removed from our educational process, what we use as our basis to move, or our momentum to move through life, is what? Information that somebody else is feeding us. So if they tell us we should believe in this and vote for that person, then that's what we do. Most people, when something happens, they say, well, we need a leader. I was watching a program where they were saying that the truck drivers were having a convention in Iowa, or a gathering in Iowa this past week. And at that convention, they were talking about supply chain shortages and gas prices and things that were really severely impacting the trucking industry. And the person on the news went around and started asking people, what do you think the problem is? And almost all of them said, we need a leader who's going to lead us up out of this. We need somebody who's going to help us get up out of this. So we're at the point where we don't always even think about how to get ourselves up out of this, how to do something differently, how to solve a problem, because we don't have problem solving skills. We have literally been trained to look to somebody else to solve our problems. And it's massive. It's not just Black people, but it's people, a lot of people, all cultures. All the people that were interviewed were white. And they were all saying, well, we need a leader. We need somebody to show us how to get up out of this. And most people have not really realized that the bulk of what is going on right now in the world is the result of the currency of information. So what do? They put on the news and they talk about the war in Ukraine. What happens? Prices start going up. They put it on the news and they say, hey, US and China are at odds. Soon as you hear that information, it doesn't matter if the US and China are at odds or not, because as soon as you hear that information, then the industries are already responding. And people are saying, oh, you can't get this because this is made in China. You can't get that. Well, damn, everything's made in China. We don't manufacture too much of anything now in the United States. So when you hear that and you start talking about the supply chain shortage, trace it all the way back. You know how they say, follow the money, follow the information. Where did it start? You start talking about the definition of a woman and the identity of a woman being hijacked. Trace it back to information that has been injected into our school system, into our children on a subconscious basis. Trace it all the way back to the information. You hear something, trace it all the way. You can trace it all the way back. I was literally talking. I've been talking to people a lot about, as you all know here, about purchasing the commemorative Elijah coins for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. And I honestly thought that when Allah gave me that idea to take a piece of his Christ's house, the Lamb of God, his messenger's home, and make a coin out of it, that I would sell out, I thought, in 2 weeks. But what I didn't realize, so that was kind of an economic system, right? I was like, all right, we'll get the home finished because we're going to sell these coins. And that's kind of an economic system. But what I didn't realize was the impact of the information that and the propaganda that had been put out there against me that would impact the economy of the project and cause us to have to go and do fundraisers. Well, what is an example of that? It's two things. One thing, and you may say, I say that these two things technically should have nothing to do whether or not you purchase a coin from a historic home from someone you love, in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or if you're a Black conscious person, somebody preserving history. But two things that the agents and the hypocrites put out there into the economy that impacted this, that we've had to counteract. One was they said, oh, she's not a registered Muslim. So you may think that doesn't matter. She's upholding the name of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. She's preserving history. But they knew that the primary market of people who love the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, would get swayed by that information. And they'd be like, no, I ain't supporting that. I ain't buying nothing because she ain't registered. We buy things from people who ain't registered all the time. We support people who are not registered, but I am. I had to bring receipts, like my original pledge card and my Savior's letter, and some evidence of a lot of the work that I did in my early sojourn as a Muslim. So we squashed that rumor. People like, all right, okay. Then the next rumor they came out with was they said, well, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan does not back the project. See, again, we're talking about the economics being based on information. In this case, it's based on false information. Because from day one, he has been and is incredibly supportive. He's my spiritual father and has been so endeared to the project and so excited about the project that even when things aren't going well, I'm nervous about sharing it with him because I just love the joy that he has about the project, to the point where somebody walked up to some workers that I had on the project and said that Farrakhan was going to shut them down. Even yesterday, I was on a tour and somebody asked a question, well, what do they think? And I said, well, who is they? Them, like doing their head towards next door. Because they think, and that rumor has gone out, that he doesn't back the project. And it's not true. It's a lie. But it impacts the economy of the project, because not only does it make people think, okay, well, good, she's vulnerable, we can attack her, we can stop her. Then when they found out, like, whoa, wait a minute, Allah's backing her, even if we think the minister ain't. And the minister just told me the other day, I said, well, I pray that Allah is pleased with my efforts. And his response is, well, I'm pleased and I represent the two. My point in this is I want to use a personal example to show you how information, good information and bad information, can affect the economics of what it is that you're doing. Can affect your economy. It can cause enemies to attack you because they get a hold of this bad information. And as they're grabbing a hold of that bad information, they know how difficult it is for us. We will tell a lie even if we will repeat a lie, even if we've been told and it's been proven that it's not true, once we get it in our head. And so this information that gets spewed out here in the world is what our economic infrastructure is based on today. And I just gave you that as those two things as a small example. And so as a people, so that we're not easily manipulated by an enemy, by people who don't want to see us progress, we have to get our emotional intelligence in order. We have to raise our EQ, because once a person puts information out there and they see how you react to the information, then they can put more information out there. They see how you move. Okay, well, when I say this is how they react. Oh, okay. Well, she proved she was a registered Muslim. Let's say the minister not supporting it. So they start seeing how the people are moving and responding economically to the information. I was looking at there's this Elijah Muhammad fan club that's on Facebook, and somebody had put up a book by Brother Saad, one of Brother Saad's book. I think it was the one called Joshua. And so there were all these comments where people, a lot of them were negative, and people were saying, "Oh my God, are you kidding me?" I've had people say that to me when I say that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is a great man or one of the greatest men to ever live, and people go, "Is she kidding me?" And so it's the same thing. So, but what I noticed was, for me, when I saw the controversy, based on my level of emotional intelligence, it made me want to go back and read the book again. I read the book, I think it was last year. It made me want to go back and get the book. It made me want to go and buy a few of my brother's books and give them out. But what I saw was people in the chat saying, "Oh, I'm not going to get it." Or people doing private chats like, "No, that ain't right." Why do they put that negative information out? To try to make it seem like you're crazy or something's wrong with you. It's because they know that the crowd will not respond economically. Some people create controversy. People have accused Kanye of that. People accuse Lil Wayne of that, of creating controversy. People have accused Chris Brown of that, of creating controversy because they know certain information will sell certain things. But there's also people who create controversy because they know that you and I will respond economically. And a weak person will read those comments when they were talking about the book Joshua and go, "I'm not going to get it." And what I'm saying to you is, look carefully into any information that was brought to you. That we're taught that in our Holy Quran. Look carefully, because it could be designed to get you to move a certain way. And generally, it's designed to control your pockets. Dr. George Fraser has this phrase that I love. He says, "White people are not worried about you. They're worried about their family, their children, their future, and your pockets." Think about that. So the idea is to make sure that you're mindful. Don't be so easy. Let me say this also. I'm the kind of person, if you bring me some information about somebody that is a friend of mine and that I'm committed to, I'm not going to throw them away just because you brought me some information about them. Because I'm looking at you like, why are you telling me this? Or I may say, you know what, let me go talk to them. And 9 times out of 10, when a person ain't telling you the truth, they don't want you to talk to the other person. I've had people bring me information about something or say things about me, and they're really just trying to set off something. Some people mimic the devil really well. And so you have to be very careful. Your emotional intelligence has to be in check. And so my thing is, I'm not going to react to that emotionally. I'm going to double down on my commitment to that person. And if they made a mistake and said something, or maybe they got set off and got emotional, that's okay. I'm going to give them the space to grow through that process. So information and our emotional response to information is very critical. And some of us are sitting here going, yeah, you're right. But we don't realize what we're responding to is our subconscious effect to information that impacts us. Be mindful of how you watch the news. Be mindful of who you talk to. Be mindful. What are you thinking right now? What is your primary emotion? And if it becomes difficult for you to identify and control your primary emotion, go to gratitude. I told you I was taught at a very young age as a Muslim to look for Allah in everything. And every time I see it, every time I find it, then I'm in a space of gratitude. And I sit there in a space of gratitude. If I wake up in the middle of the night, I can't go back to sleep. I have a prayer rug on the side of my bed. I get up and I'm on that prayer rug, being grateful, nurturing that relationship. Guide me, Allah. Help me in areas where I can't see. Help me where I'm weak. Let the sun smile on my face and the wind kiss my face. Let me flow with you. What's my next move? I'm grateful for you. Thank you. I know you've never forsaken me. I can look around at so many things that I've manifested the resources to obtain. And so I know that you're with me. I know that I'm a powerful manifester. I know that I can move forward with you. I know you're always here. I know that there are times where maybe I felt sad or maybe I was worrying. It's because I somehow blocked myself off from you. I let some information come to me that caused me to not see your presence. Maybe you wanted that information to come to me so that I could pay attention to how a person reacts to certain information. Maybe people don't react the way you do, and that's okay. But I know you're with me. And so I'm having that conversation. So when you start to have those kinds of grounding conversations with yourself, I know at the end of the day, I can count on you. I know at the end of the day, you're here. I know at the end of the day, you've never forsaken me. I know at the end of the day that I wouldn't even be having certain desires if you didn't put them in my mind to have. And so I'm going to trust that you've already worked out how it's going to happen. And I'm just going to nurture how I'm going to feel when you come through and make yourself known. So my point being is that we have to learn how to talk ourselves into a space so that we're not excessively impacted by the information around us. And we have to teach our children to do that. Because what we don't want is for our children sitting around going into depression, being sad because they've made a mistake and they think all of a sudden that they're not good enough. And okay, well, I can't practice Christianity anymore. I can't be saved anymore because I made this mistake. I can't really be a Muslim anymore. I can't really come around anymore because I messed up. Or may as well go ahead and do it. I'm already messed up. May as well just dive deeper into it. Those are the kind of mindsets you want to avoid. So we should always be correcting and tweaking. I like to say that I'm a different person. I'm growing newer and newer every minute of the day. So I don't even want you to think of growing old as growing old. Really, you're just getting newer. You should be becoming newer. You should be becoming. BECOMING, like Michelle Obama's book, Becoming. You should be growing. You should be moving to that next level. And so I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning. I'm not the same person today at almost 7 o'clock, 6:49, that I was at 4 a.m. because I'm constantly getting newer. Why am I getting newer? Because I'm acknowledging God's presence more and more and more. I'm working with him so that as I'm moving and matriculating through life, he's depositing more and more of himself into me. And I'm becoming more and more aware of him. each and every minute of the day. Aha. I'm like, aha, I see. And so I'm looking, I'm finding, I'm studying my mind and making sure that I'm using my emotions. If I feel something, I'm like, ooh, what was that? What was that? Why did I feel that? And so I look at it, because sometimes it's just really Allah wanting me to stop and take a minute and pay attention to where I am. But I'm using all that as an example. You all know I don't teach anything that I'm always going to come out of my own personal experiences to teach you. I'm not a professor. I don't teach theory. You're going to learn. I don't have a problem with using my life and my accomplishments, because I don't believe that they're for me. Those are rewards that Allah has given me, and I want to share them among my family and friends. So I've been accused of wearing my heart on my sleeve and just walking around with my heart exposed, but that's just who I am. And so I don't mind using, what I've learned and how Allah has blessed me to help you learn. And so, and sometimes that's uncomfortable for some people, but that's okay. It's okay with me, because I know that Allah didn't bless me for me to sit up here on this shelf like some of these awards and trophies up here. He don't need that. What he desires is to make himself known. And so I have to tell it, I have to talk about it, I have to share, so that you all can see that Allah is real. And anyway, I didn't plan on that. I just wanted to talk about that. I really wanted to talk about emotional intelligence and get us off into that a little bit more. Let you guys know that you can book customized sessions with me, whether it's for emotional intelligence, whether it's for your money psychology and improving your relationship with money. I also do business consulting. I can help you with your business. I'm pretty good at business. I can sometimes sit up and build a business in 15 minutes. So I can help you with your business. 2 sessions is good. Some people may need more than that. That's fine. If they want me to be an ongoing coach or advisor for their business, I can help you with development. You're trying to make certain choices in business, whether it's real estate or crisis management. I'm here. So you just go to the social media, the link in my social media bios. And when you do that, you click on there. It's a link tree. And the first tab is to book a customized session with me. And if you pay for one session, I'll give you a follow-up session for free. So it's like buy one, get one free. That's what we're doing. All right, let me see what y'all talking about in the chat. Sister Marvelous Marva said, our mind is a beautiful garden. Pluck out those weeds from the root. Yes, amen. Brother Lamont said, love that emotional evolution. Yeah, emotion it's all an evolution. And we should be evolving. We should be newer today than what we were yesterday. Sister said, mischief makers. Yeah, that's it. That's all it is. That is deep. We got to go. Yep. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. YouTube University. That's exactly right. Yeah. Disappointment management is very, very important. Emotional habits. All right. So family, I am praying that you all have a happy Saturday. Do something fun today. Step out and stop staying in the house worrying. Stop staying in the house worrying and trying to figure out how you're going to do this or do that, and get out. Enjoy the summer. We got some things happening in Chicago today. Congratulations to my brother, Eric Williams. Y'all know Brother Eric, who owns the Silver Room. A great friend. I've had several events at his space. And we as are committed to creating and supporting our mutual ecosystems. He's having a Silver Room block party today. When I drove down Lakeshore Drive yesterday and I saw the setup on Oakwood Beach, I just rolled down the window. Nobody could hear me, but I just said, yes, Eric, yes, win, win, win. And I see what he's doing is so historic. It's so amazing. Do you know that in the city of Chicago is very difficult to do entertainment? And a lot of people don't know that, because Chicago has so much great talent. but normally we hear about talent coming from New York or LA. A lot of that is because of a lack of private venue spaces. And in Chicago, the city or our park district owns a lot of the venue spaces that are used for entertainment. So when you go to other cities and you see certain festivals for certain types of music, you have individual entrepreneurs oftentimes that are putting on those festivals with the help, of course, of sponsors and things like that. And so it feeds and fuels a entertainment economy, or a sub portion of the economy in the city based on entertainment. But in the city of Chicago, the city owns most of the entertainment. So they offer good stuff. I mean, our park districts are nice. There's good concerts and stuff. However, the money doesn't necessarily go into a private entertainment industry. So you don't have a lot of record labels like you used to have back in the day that had money because they can throw concerts and have venue space that will make money through ticket sales or sponsorship, and then pour that into artists or the promotion of music and plays and things like that. In the city, our city, the government does a lot of that. So when you see what somebody like Brother Eric is doing at Oakwood Beach with the Hyde Park Block Party, where he as an individual with his group of partners and investors are owning a primary entertainment venue in the city of Chicago and sharing our culture, and that money is coming back and going into him, that's incredible. It's historic. And I encourage you all to go and support, pay for your tickets, because so much he's done this and come out of his pocket. He's lost $500,000, $600,000. He's lost a lot of money really because he's committed to promoting our culture, a certain aspect of our culture in the city of Chicago. So for him to be able to do this now on Oakwood Beach with 12 big gates, he's got stages. It's a big, big venue. It's really and truly historic. And it really represents, in my opinion, a breakthrough for the entertainment industry in Chicago. So shout out to Eric. That's happening today. Hyde Park Block Party. You should make sure you go to the website. Just Google Hyde Park Block Party. Go to the website. You can find out all about it and check it out. Hopefully everybody goes down there and goes live so people all over the world can experience and see our culture here in Chicago. And there's other things like that going on today. I think there's a family day for Mas Mariam and the Nation of Islam today. There's that celebration. I know I'm forgetting a lot of other things, but I just wanted to point that out. So get out, participate, put your mask on, take your water, and go have some fun. All right, family, please make sure you donate. If you like this movement, if you like the stuff that I'm talking about, the emotional intelligence, don't chip and dip me. Don't come on here and get information that if you went somewhere else, you'd have to pay $500 or $1,500 for. And then just click off of here and not give anything. What we have scrolling across the bottom here is our Cash App, $Mo Today. And make sure that you sign up for my mailing list so that I can communicate with you outside of social media in the event that anything happens. So just text Do For Self to 855-574-9099. I try not to send out too many text messages or reach out too much. So make sure that you go and do that. But make a donation and get in the habit to help you with your emotional intelligence around money or your relationship with money. Whenever you receive something, make sure you give. And whenever you're in need, make sure you give. So this is a real critical emotional intelligence technique. Be in the space of giving. When you need something deep in your heart and you're like, man, I need this so bad, then to open up that flow of energy in your life, you have to open up and give. Because what most people do is they go, well, I need something. And so because I need, I'm going to close off. And anything that comes to me, I'm going to act like I stole it. I'm going to run off in the corner and bury it in the dirt so nobody can find it. And so I'm holding. Well, guess what? You missed the flow. You're probably blocking yourself off from 80 to 90% of the flow. So I'm saying when you need something, if you want something in your life, then you should give it. If you want love, give love. If you want prayers, give prayers. When I want people to pray for me, I pray for other people. I don't call them and say, pray. Of course, if I know them, I say, hey, do I have your blessings? But I pray for other people. When I know I want somebody to bless me, I try to bless other people. And so if you're ever around me, you know that I'm always working to be an asset, to be beneficent, and to be, merciful, to try to demonstrate those attributes of Allah to the best of my ability. So what I'm saying all that to say is that go to the Cash App, give. If you got anything out of this whole talk or this stuff that I do, then give, then support it. Maybe your gift will pay for this StreamYard subscription. All this stuff costs money. People think stuff is cheap and free, but it's not. Also, make sure that you go to SajdahHouseDonations.com and make a donation. We have not had a lot of people going there doing donations. So I encourage you to make a donation there, or just go to SajdahHouse.com and get your commemorative Elijah coin. The pendants we're running low on pendants. So I'm just telling y'all, go get them, because once they're gone, then they won't be available anymore. There's only so much copper, right? And then we have the graded coins. I didn't bring one with me today. The graded coins are available. We still have about 1,200 or so of those left. So get those and get these coins before they're gone. You're also going to need that number off the back of that graded coin, because that's going to give you access to discounted memberships of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. So, all right, peace and blessings, family. Happy Saturday. Wish one another a happy Saturday in the chat. Love on each other. Love on somebody today. Be nice to somebody today. Support somebody today. Support a Black-owned business, a Black Muslim business today. And be intentional and conscious about how you move around the world today. So, all right, peace and blessings, family. Love you all very much. And inshallah, I will see you all next Wednesday.